Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. In this video, I want to talk to you about Kaito. Now, you probably remember this application from end of December, early January, when I was showing you how you can earn their massive airdrop. But so much has changed since then. I've talked about them regularly on our airdrop update video series, but there is an incredible opportunity that I think you're sleeping on that you should definitely pay attention to. So if you end up liking the content that you see, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And after all of that, if you're like, I still need some help, well, I have some paid services also linked down below. Now, to recap, back in December and early January, I talked to you about their YAP program. Basically, the idea and the concept is you talk on Twitter and you earn yaps, which is basically like sort of incentivized mind share. And basically what we wanted to do back then was earn our yaps, and those yaps would eventually be given an airdrop. So there was an airdrop for NFT holders and there was an airdrop for yaps. In total, I made about 9 to 10,000 US dollars, which is incredible, right? But beyond that, those tokens are now in play along with their Genesis NFTs, and I'm going to show you exactly what is available for you if you are interested. Now, the first thing I would recommend, if you aren't part of Kaito already, check the link down below, join it. I think it is probably one of the best things that you should focus on. In the past, when we talked about airdrops, we went from testnet farming to on-chain activity to liquidity farming. InfoFi is the new flywheel, and Kaito has, I can't think of an airdrop that has not happened recently that didn't have Kaito intertwined. So it's a big miss if you're not doing it. And let me just show you some examples. So at the start of May, you can see here, I got 7,500 Boop token as a result of my Kaito exposure. And this is my Kaito ecosystem exposure. That was $3,000 or $28.90. Again, this happened a couple days ago. I got $22.53. So $2,253 worth of Huma token. And to put that in comparison, this is for my Kaito exposure. And I got like $800 or $700 for my Huma exposure outside of that. So pretty clear what you should be focusing on. On top of that, you can see here, here's the prompt airdrop. I don't remember exactly how much it ended up being, but I think I was selling it for like 12 cents each. So this is another 500 bucks straight from Kaito. Over here, you can see that for holding the Kaito Genesis NFT, I got like basically not the full $800, but probably like $300 or $400, which is incredible once again. And that was today. Also, if you are familiar with the Virtuals ecosystem, you get a ton of points, right? So each point is probably worth like 1 or 2 cents based on the potential. But basically every day, like this is like $35 or $70, right? It adds up. You're making hundreds and hundreds of dollars by having enough staked Kaito token. So I want to just show you that this is not it. There are so many more rewards coming, and this is Yuhu, who's the founder of Kaito. Basically, Kaito stakers, so that's the Kaito token. They are the diamond-handed core of the yappers, right? So they're basically going to get tons of drops, and this was updated recently to show you some of the drops that are coming. So Huma Finance just happened. Sol Protocol is going to have one. Infinex is going to have one. Magic Newton's going to have it. Trifomo, Novastro, and Virtual we know is currently going on. And there are so many more. Now, there are some ways you can invest in the Kaito ecosystem, but the best way to think about this is the Kaito token represents ownership of the network, while their NFT collection represents the culture of the community and often will be a multiplier in the ecosystem. Now, I put together this article a couple of days ago, and I really think it's worthwhile you taking a look after this video just in case, because I want to make it very clear. But basically, you can still earn yaps, which will be valuable, we might see a second airdrop coming from Yaps in the future. Also, you can acquire mindshare. So basically, you have a ton of leaderboards on Kaito, and depending on your placement, you will earn rewards. Infinex recently rewarded their top 500 leaderboards or top 500 leaderboard users with a lot of money. Somebody made like $40,000, for example. But there are two main ways to invest in the Kaito ecosystem. You can either get the Genesis NFT, which currently is sitting at a floor price of 2.7 for Ethereum, right? So there's a ton of these. I do still hold one of those. Or what you can do is stake the Kaito token, right? I'm going to talk to you a bit about that. But just to put in perspective, the Kaito token, so this is obviously the correction that we saw, from the end of December all the way to mid-April, the rest of the broader market. And then Kaito has been outperforming to the upside, which is incredible, right? So until yesterday, the Kaito token was sitting at like $2.41, which is pretty phenomenal. And there's a lot of people who I know who are very smart, who are very risk averse, who are investing in Kaito, who are continuing to buy this token because this flywheel continues to pay dividends. Now, let me just sort of talk to you a bit about what I think and what I think is a good idea. So number one, we've seen a lot of changes to these assets. In fact, the Kaito Genesis NFT used to be incredible when it came to voting. It used to have a massive voting power in comparison to the Kaito token. That being said, since the voting basically has been put on hiatus, what happens now is there is a complete revamp of the NFT, and they're going to do like a PFP for it and everything else like that, which has been delayed. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the Kaito Genesis NFT is something that the team did, but really doesn't want to continue maintaining. Meanwhile, the Kaito token continues to be the lifeblood of the ecosystem, like you saw in that tweet from you. So if you can't get both, my recommendation is to look at the staked Kaito token, because I think that will get you your better share of rewards. So now that I've sort of pointed you in the right direction, and remember, nothing is financial advice. If you're looking to get the staked Kaito tokens, what's the next step? Well, it's not really that straightforward, because recently they've added another way that you can get access to staked Kaito, but for a smaller duration of time. Let me sort of walk you through the options you have. So the first option is staked Kaito. So this one's very easy. Basically, you go to something like Jumper Exchange, you go in here and you swap some, USDC, Ethereum, whatever you want into Kaito, do the exchange, then you're good. Then you need to go to the actual platform. And the way this works is when you open up your Kaito app, let me just open up this card. You get to this page over here, which is revamped. Click on the button that says Staked Kaito, and now you can stake your Kaito. Remember, there is a 7-day cooling period after you unstake, just so you're aware. Now that you've done that, you will be earning an APR of about 10-ish, 11%. And there is something you should know, which is every partnered program, they get to decide what the minimum threshold will be. So for example, the Virtuals ecosystem, to even get bonus Virgin points, you need to have at least 5,000 or more S Kaito. And remember, like if I put 5,000 Kaito here, I will not get 5,000 S Kaito. It's 47.69. So in fact, I believe it's something like this. Oh, oops, delete this. Yeah, so a little around 5,300 to get the actual amount of S Kaito. On the other hand, some rewards may require greater than 500. And I think that because of this, 500 S Kaito is a great baseline to start at. And that's what I'd recommend to somebody who's actually interested in investing into this ecosystem. At the current price of $2.20, that's about $1,100 US. Now, One more thing you should know is the rewards can be linear. So in some cases, we've seen that the more S Kaito you have, the bigger the reward is. And sometimes it's flat. So there's no difference between if you have 500 or 1,000, right? So I know a lot of people like to game this stuff. They like to sort of split their S Kaito or other tokens like this across wallets to maximize, but it's not clear and they change a lot and you just don't want to miss out on something. So if you are looking to basically take advantage of this, I would say I wouldn't start splitting unless you get to like 5,000 S Kaito and then start splitting them across wallets. Now, the other thing is, as I mentioned, the other bonus is the Kaito token is expected to keep appreciating in value. Now, the second option, and it's a little more complicated, some of you farmed EtherFi or other eigenlayer sort of derivative type platforms, right? Like Renzo, etc. last year. Well, you may have used Pendle as a way to get extra points. And in Pendle, you can basically go into a pool, zap your tokens into that pool to earn extra yield. And when you do that, you put that money in, you can basically isolate a yield token. And what that does is it gives the ability to sort of kind of isolate that yield, and you can basically sell that off. That yield token only exists for as long as the pool is open. So if we were to go to the actual Kaito pool, where are we? Let's just do this right here. So let me just open this up. You can see here this current pool, the only one that's open, ends on July 31st in 63 days. And what you get is basically a PTS Kaito token. And the way this works is when the pool matures, so on July 31st, one PTS Kaito will be equal to one Kaito. Before that, it will be worth a fraction of it. And that difference is the yield that you will gain over the 63 days. Also, if you do withdraw earlier, there will be some penalties. They're not advertised by Pendle, but for those of us who've used EtherFi and EtherFi Pendle and other things, we've experienced it. Now, this obviously gives you a question mark, right? So if you're an investor or an enthusiast, you're like, oh, I can get the Kaito rewards at a fraction of the cost. But you really have to understand how this works. So let me explain this so it's very clear. So I basically did this yesterday. I zapped in 100 S Kaito to demonstrate. And you can see here, $212 worth of S Kaito turned into $200 of the LP token, which is made up of sort of PT and PTSY. I'll explain that in a second. And then the last $12 is YT, right? So the only thing we care about is PT token, the principal token, and the YT token, which is the yield token. So as I said, the PTS Kaito will be equal to one Kaito staked in the website at maturity. So until then, it's only worth a fraction, and it's locked in the yield that it will take to get the amount. So if you do this, you will not earn any rewards in the meantime when you isolate this. But the YTS Kaito token will earn you all the rewards of one Kaito staked in Kaito AI until maturity. But, and this is the most important part, on the date of maturity, right? So 63 days from now, the value of the YTS Kaito will be 0. Now, there is some potential benefit. So when you have a market that hasn't clearly priced something in, you can take advantage of this. So I used to play Magic the Gathering when I was younger. What am I kidding? Like 10 years ago. And basically, sometimes you'd open packs and a card would be worth so much that it would be worth opening booster boxes to just keep getting that card and selling it. But what people would do was they would do this enough that the supply would sort of take care of all the demand and the price would come down. And the same thing happens here, which is right now there's so many Kaito rewards that are coming out and people have undervalued and have not really priced that in. As they buy more of the YT token to sort of take advantage of this, the potential and the benefit and sort of the advantage of doing this is going to go down. So what I expect is that people will speculate on the price increase of the Kaito token, and also they will start speculating on the YT token. I do think, for example, that it's a massive gamble to purchase, as you are basically relying on the rewards given during the period of the pool. The one benefit here, unlike other airdrop farming, is a lot of the airdrop farming, they sort of mess things up and you end up like not getting what you need. In fact, a lot of people got burned on EtherFi and Renzo using the YT token, but here it's slightly different. And because it's fundamentally undervalued, I think that you can actually purchase to flip. And the bonus of doing that is in the time period that you're holding the token before you flip it, you will also earn some extra rewards. Remember, very dynamic market. You're going to see the supply and demand dynamics come in. If everyone wants YT tokens, the price goes up. And as the demand for the YT token goes down, well, the price goes down. And this is why it basically approaches zero. Because if you got 1 day left, who wants the YT token? Because it doesn't get you anything unless you're able to get the rewards on the last day. So here's an example of a wallet where I bought 53.52 YT as Kaito for about 60 cents or whatever. And you can see here, as I was telling on Twitter, the price would go up, and it's basically at 0.073. It was 0.06. So nice 15% increase. I can sell this now and get sort of the extra bonus plus any rewards that came during that time. So this is why I do think that there's a time and place for it, but don't just randomly buy the YT token, not claim your rewards and everything, and then go, oh my God, I got screwed over, right? Think strategically. And one last thing I do want to tell you is there's a very important part that I've seen so many people mess up, which is you actually have to link certain wallets in order to get your Kaito assets. So I'm going to show you this right now. The first thing I need you to do is visit your social card on the Kaito website. To make this easy for you, I have linked every one of these steps in the article. So you go do this and sort of you go in and go to your social card. Now, once you're here, you can see here my wallets. I'll click on this. So there's linked wallets right here. And basically, if you don't have one, just click on link. Basically, you pick the wallet. So in this case, Rabby wallet, I connect the wallet that I want to. This is your EVM wallet that contains your Kaito, okay? The other thing you have to do is when you go to My Wallets, click on Inputted Wallets. And what you want to do is, if there's nothing here, you have to add the wallet. You hit the check mark to confirm. You add an Ethereum wallet and a Solana wallet. If you don't do this, for example, I saw people who didn't do it for Boop. They got zero. And they had to wait for the team, which, by the way, the Kaito team is insanely good. They went out of their way to make sure those who didn't get the Boop airdrop because they didn't put the wallet address in, that they were given a separate claim. But just don't rely on it. Just put your sort of wallets, like link your EVM wallet and input your EVM and your Solana wallet, and then you're good to go. And then all you have to do is sit back and let the rewards come in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, hit the like button, share the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and until next time, I'll see you later.